The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host, and today we have Rahel, and she's back. She did a trip to South Africa?
South Africa.
And we want to hear all about the results. The last interview that we had with you, you were going out there to make music and bring some national exposure to poverty, right?
Well, the mission of this project, we call it the Healing Light Project.
Okay.
And the mission is through music. We want to meet people to people. We want to exchange culture, share our lives together. And if there are any particular issues, it'll come out.
Like poverty, right?
Right. So, although we didn't focus on that,
Yeah.
but it was incredible.
So tell me about the flight. How long was it there to get there?
Well, I took a flight with a layover that I had done before through Zurich, 11-hour layover, thinking that we'd get out. My son came with me. He was documenting everything, and we thought we'd go and walk around Zurich. But security has gotten tighter, and we got lazier because we didn't want to go through security so many more times. So we sat around the airport.
Oh,
But we
I
had
see.
been to Zurich City before. But the flight was there for quite long. I understand if you take South African Airways, it's, I have to plug that.
No.
It's probably 14 to 16 hours straight. But it took us about 7 or 8 hours to get to Zurich, and then 11-hour layover, and then I was shocked. It's almost 11 hours from Zurich to South Africa. So we...
In a flight? To fly?
In the flight. So, yeah. So,
Really?
yeah,
What
it
kind of
was
plane?
very long. I don't know what kind of plane it was.
Was it a jet?
Yeah, it's a jet, but yeah.
11 hours.
It was
Wow.
almost, he said, it'll be 10 and a half, 11 hours. I'm like, oh, you're kidding. I
Wow.
kind of misjudged that.
Yeah.
But we did that going and coming. And so it was about 2 days flight. But
How were you greeted?
when we got there, I told you last time I didn't know what to expect. And we got to the airport, and there were 7 members of the group. They're called Amavivani Performing Arts. And they had T-shirts on. They had made T-shirts of our project, the Healing Light Project, so we could easily recognize them. And they just were standing there opening, with open arms and greeting us. And each one gave us a hug. And now I'm going to cry.
That's so cool.
And brought us, they came, the whole group, in 2 cars, 3 cars actually, and carried our bags, just took everything and took us under wing and brought us we had an Airbnb, and they brought us straight to our Airbnb. And when we got there, we had just walked in the door, and they said, we want to greet you. And they had prepared a song for us, and including the owner of the Airbnb. And they proceeded to sing the African national anthem, and just it was just such a wonderful, warm welcome.
Yeah.
That, I didn't know what to expect. And we sat down, and we got to know each other a little bit. I had brought some light gifts, and we introduced each other and got to know each other's names, and you'll see it on a video clip.
Yeah, we have a video following the interview.
And you'll see that kind of warmness and openness that there was. Just such a wonderful people.
What were you and your sons discussing in between? Did you? I mean, it's like, hey, wow, this is nice, but did you?
In between,
When you got there, I mean, you must have been tired. You had an 11-hour trip. All these people are singing to you. I mean, you must have been tired, but
I said, Iran, go get the camera.
good for you. Don't miss this.
Don't miss this. It was, we went for the purpose of, this was our first project for the Healing Light Project. And we did some fundraising. We raised a certain amount, and everybody put in of their own money because it was more important to make it happen than to wait around till we got fully funded.
Right.
So we, part of it was that my son came along to document everything. So he was filming everything, and so it was just get the camera and film everything. And it was just a pleasure the whole time. I mean, the Amavivani Performing Arts, they're from a tribe in Zimbabwe. They're actually, in a sense, they're kind of refugees in a way. They were victims of a dictatorship and some terrible things that were going on with their tribe. They're the Ndebele tribe, Ndebele, Ndebele tribe, and they have a certain history from Zimbabwe. So they're kind of misplaced Zimbabweans who are now came to South Africa, Johannesburg, in order to escape persecution. So some of them, at that time, I guess it was about 10 years ago, and at the time I had no idea who I was actually meeting, but the Ndebele tribe is a well-respected tribe in Zimbabwe. And so what they were representing was their traditional arts, traditional music, traditional dance, and you'll see it in the film. It's a certain kind of music that's a cappella, vocal music. But we got right down to business.
I was going to ask you about the workshops, but with their music, are they trying to preserve part of their heritage or their culture?
Yes, very much so. And what I noticed in South Africa, and we went into schools, we went into communities, we went into all the places that I was told not to go to, because I was told Johannesburg is full of crime, and don't go to this area or that area. Well, it happens that these people are living in those areas. And they took us on a tour of their homes, and we went into all the areas they told us not to go to, and we didn't feel threatened. We didn't feel there was any danger, to tell you the truth, but they were also looking out for us.
Sure.
And but we had a wonderful time. That's what I was going to tell you. But
well, I wanted to ask about the workshop. So you got to work right away. How did you? They sang to you. Did you sing right back to them? Did you say, okay, this is what we're going to do? What was the agenda? How did you?
Our first day, they sang to us. We got to know each other. We exchanged. We just said hello. Here you are in person. We hadn't met in person yet. And then it was late, and we just rested the first day. But we were straight to work the next day. It was Saturday and Sunday. We planned 2 rehearsal days. I had sent them music. They had sent me music. We kind of had an idea of the kind of music, the songs that we were going to do, but we just got down to work. And,
When you sent them music, what music? The music you wrote?
Right.
Okay.
Right. I sent music, and I was coming from, as a Jew, so I was doing Hebrew music and Jewish content, and also representing America. And so I had a little bit of Americana going there too. And they were representing Africa, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. And so they were also singing in English and in Zulu. So we knew that somehow we were going to have to try and blend this, because this was the goal.
Now you have different rhythms,
Right.
And did you morph into one song after another, or was it song 1, song 2, or how did that work?
We did do that, and again, you'll see it in the film how we worked together and some talk about it. But I just started singing and playing my song. That was the first rehearsal, and they just went right into it. They just, it just sort of
How did that
developed
make you
together.
feel immediately? Right?
Kevin,
So
I
you're
was
playing,
so
and all of a sudden you
happy.
have these beautiful bass tenor voices just And
It was what I have been longing
Yeah,
for so
that is
many
so cool.
years. And there I was. You'll probably see it in my face. I was just,
Is
they were
this
all
real?
around
Yeah.
me, and I was just, I was so happy. Musically happy,
Sure,
just
yeah.
all, and, and it just fit. And I was amazed. I mean, we didn't really give it that much effort, although, there was effort all along.
Sure.
But it felt like, wow, here we are. We were meant to be, and it's
very
just
natural.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a choir singing behind me, or doing some or choir or
Right?
a sound, just extra vocals in the background, because you feed off that energy.
Right.
It's as a musician, when you're playing with other musicians, it's a total different vibe. You're
Right.
playing by yourself. That's wonderful. You like to hear the resonating from the music that you're listening to. But when you have blended voices and they're complementing, nobody's competing. They're complementing, and you come up with a synthesized sound. You're like, you're giddy, right?
I mean, you're just tingly all over,
Yeah.
and you're just smiling ear to ear. I mean, it was just a
Does-
wonderful experience, and I think for them too. And the next day we worked on their song, and I said, I think, they never work with instrumentation. So I said, I think I can do some guitar work here. And then it just blended, and we put it together. They did some choreography, whatever, and then we set out.
When you did the guitar work, was it complex? Was it complex chords, or is it just basic,
It
simple
was very simple, 3 chords.
3 chords and a lot of feeling?
Yeah, like, the 1-4-5 kind of thing, and
Yeah,
just
okay.
some strumming.
Yeah.
But where to put it, where to enter, how to make it happen. And then, of course, I joined a little bit in the singing, learned 2 words in Zulu,
That's good.
and they sang in Hebrew, and they learned a whole phrase in Hebrew. And so we had the songs, and we recorded them. We went to a studio, and we recorded them in one day. I mean, everything was miraculous. It just all happened.
So how are the recording studios there compared to here? Are they comparable? What?
Yeah, they're very comparable. I mean, yeah,
Who paid for that?
we did. We paid for it partly from the money that was raised, and partly from our pockets. And we did one concert where we actually were able to charge, and this was organized and produced by my good friend Toby Tobias, who also performed with us. And it was a fundraiser also for us, the Healing Light Project, as well as a young teenage boy, South African from Johannesburg, named Isia King, and he was doing rap. So
in Zulu.
rap, and he was from a group called Yoga for Alex, and Yoga for Alex is a free yoga classes for for people who live in that. I think it's called Alexandria, an area just outside, and so. My friend Toby also produced 2 concerts where he did some fundraising for them.
How was the turnout?
It was wonderful. It
Really?
was full. Yeah, it was full. First of all, Toby was there for a wedding, so we had many
Yeah.
of his relatives, but we also had the woman whose house they rented is also organized. It's a conference center, so she is also well connected. And I believe that some of the audience was people from outside.
Was it outside, or is it in a shell, or inside? Where
It was supposed to be outside in the garden, but the weather wasn't as good that particular day, so we did it on the porch. The weather was 80 degrees every day.
Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful.
on the porch.
And so we did it on the porch. It was a very big house, and we just, again, you're a musician, and when musicians come together and you put together a concert with people you've never worked with before, and then it just blends. I mean, everything just worked.
The smile automatically happens.
Yeah,
I know.
And here's a story. We had a sound man who was just new in South Africa from France, right? And he said he could only come for the rehearsal. And then there he was at the concert. And I said, how did you get back? Well, it turned out that the gig he was supposed to do, the people got sick, and it was canceled, So he came back and he did the sound for us. I mean, everything just worked.
Wow.
Everything was just meant to be.
That is so cool.
And what I wanted to say before is that what I saw in the people in Africa that I worked with, that there is a certain pride and in being African
Mm-hmm.
and about Africa. And they truly, truly just extended that warm welcome to us with pride. We're proud Africans, and we're here. We want to share our country with you, and we want to share our cultures with you. And every day they came at 10 o'clock in the morning and made us breakfast. And then they made us lunch.
Very good hosts.
And then we had dinner together. And they were making the African meals from the Zimbabwean tribe. And you'll see it in the film how they eat and some of the food that they made us. I mean, everything we set out to do, we did. Mm. And I couldn't believe it because in 10 days, we were only there 10 days. Mm. And we had outrageous goals. You can imagine that our goals were 1, 2 rehearsal days, right, to get the music together.
Right.
We had 2 radio interviews. We had a day in the studio, and they took another day to mix and master and produce 2 songs ready to be broadcast. We had 2, one house concert, a community concert, and we went to 2 schools, and we had workshops and concerts there. And all of this in 10 days. And we said we wanted to do that, and we did it. Mm-hmm. I mean, who does that in 10 days? It was.
They must routinely practice.
They practice every Monday night. They practice weekly. We also toured their homes. Somebody said, "Are you going to go to a safari?" We thought we were going to go to a safari and see some elephants and giraffes and tigers and lions, but because the expense was a little bit more than we could afford, they took us on a tour of each member's home. And it couldn't have been better, Kevin. Mm. This was in line with what we wanted to do, was to see how people lived.
Right.
And see their homes. And
I can tell you, they had a sense of pride as well with that.
Yes, and I want to say that as we went to each person's home, they welcomed us with whatever they had. And I don't mean to sound, above it all or anything. I want to just say that some of them live in the city, in homes, in rooms that are divided by curtains. And they have a section of a room that's divided by a curtain, and there's someone on the other side of the curtain paying a rent there to live there. And they said, "Come to my home, come to my room. This is where I laugh, and this is where I sing, and this is where I live, and I smile and I cry, and this is where my life is. Mm. And please share it with me." With nice. Pride and no judgment.
Of course.
Kevin, no judgment, just pride. And so happy that I want to host you in my home, right? Mm. And some of them living in just really a shoebox of probably your walk-in closet, somebody's walk-in closet, and they're living there with a wife and kids. And please let me offer you some food. Please sit down and enjoy our company together. And others living in a larger house with some land. And it was a thrill. I totally preferred that tour than to go see a safari or something. Right. Next time I'll see a safari. But this was the point.
That's very personal. Very, very ingratiating. Very, it gives you perspective, doesn't it?
Right. And
attitude is everything, too. The fact that, sometimes people with the most humblest of needs or means be the most gracious people on this earth.
I think they are the most gracious, and there's a lot to learn from that. I mean, whatever they had, they shared, and happily, and warmly, and generously, and I'm telling people now, when I look back on it, I think I went to heaven and spent time with angels.
You never know.
I think I did.
So,
and that's what it felt like.
Will they, at some point, be able to come to America or Israel?
Yes, we wanted to make a first meeting, and we wanted to make it happen, and the documentation was very important to us. And I have tons of video clips and things and photos that you can see unedited. But it was very important to us to do that, to show that this is what we're doing and this can happen. And happily, with it really on a very small budget. I mean, we really didn't spend that much money all in all, and we made it happen. And so our next, we want to go to Israel. There's just something special about going to Israel, and as a Jew, and the cultural exchange there, I think, would be splendid. I mean, and also, by the way, some of the schools we performed in for other Africans, they don't know much about Zimbabweans either. So we had cultural exchange and people-to-people meeting on many levels. So
yeah, there are many states or nations. I don't know if they're nations within Africa itself.
Yeah.
The continent of Africa, not the state.
So there's a lot going on. But we want to go to Israel. We're looking into going to UK, and I would really like to bring these guys here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And so I'm reaching out.
If they come here, I'd love them to come on the show.
They would totally.
That would be wonderful. Or maybe even sing at the Capitol. That would be wonderful.
Oh, we
could arrange that if they got here, I bet.
You're on.
Oh, yeah. That would be really nice. Maybe in the House and in the Senate.
So we have a few snags to get over. Visas.
Yeah.
We need, in order to assure them to get a visa, we need itinerary and we need support. So the kind of support we're looking for now is probably a little bit more than me just going there. We need to bring at least 7 people here, so we need a larger amount of funds. So we're looking for sponsorship. If there's anybody out there who's interested in this kind of cultural exchange and meeting people,
where would you perform here in America?
Anywhere that
I think Nashua is a wonderful place, or or Concord.
Concord, Massachusetts as well. If there are other people around New England,
Do a circuit.
A circuit in people's homes. We love house concerts because of the meeting. The whole idea is to meet people,
right?
And you could feel what I could feel,
sure.
And experience what I experienced with these wonderful people, and.
Some of the universities could possibly that would be something very interesting for them to for cultural exchanges and bring them here.
And the history of this tribe in Zimbabwe is actually quite interesting.
Have any of them ventured outside of the continent of Africa at all?
They were in UK once, I believe, and it's not easy.
No.
It's a group. You're bringing a group. And that's
7 marriages right there.
Right. No matter where you're coming from, a group of people is going to be difficult. But I think anybody
when I say a group, 7, there were 7 people in the group?
Well, there were 12-member group, but
okay.
7 people were committed to this week, this 10 days with us. They took time off of their jobs. They left their families for whole days and very long days.
Is that rough on their families?
If you're looking into what they work, how they need to earn a living, many of them are in service jobs, waiters, nannies. Some are in other jobs like corporations, selling car parts, construction materials, things like that. Some are unemployed still, looking for work.
Right.
But it's not easy to earn a living as well, and that's why I say, when they welcome you into their house, they are very happy that they can afford to have that, and that they can welcome you in that house. Because jobs are not easy to find. Yeah, and in South Africa, I think it's not apartheid. We went to Soweto, and we went to the Nelson Mandela Museum and where he grew up and everything. The apartheid isn't there, but there's definitely the black and the white kind of thing. But it's I think the way I shouldn't generalize, but I think that some women are still working and raising other people's children. You know, there is poverty, and there are issues, and I think I would let them speak about that
Sure.
rather than me. So if people were interested in learning more about that, I can tell you that one of the interviewers asked me, "What do you think of South Africa?" I'd only been there, of Johannesburg. I'd only been there for 2 days and had only seen the house and this wonderful group of people. But we were in a neighborhood that it seemed like many of the neighborhoods, the houses are behind walls. Each one has a wall, and I don't know, but some of them, maybe the wealthier ones, also had electric fences on top of the wall, and security alarms and guards outside on the street. So I said, well, I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen much of Johannesburg yet, but all I can see is there's a lot of security here. And so I thought to myself, either you're the king of your castle or you're a prisoner in a jail, one or the other. Mm-hmm. But and my friend said, but look at the beautiful architecture. And once he said, I had to look beyond the fence, beyond the walls. And it is beautiful. And in spite of this heavy security, there's a magic there. There really is a magic there. There's something else that's going on there. That's in the air. That's with the people. That with whatever is going on. I think the black and white issue, we talked about it a little bit. But people are all now struggling.
Right.
Or but they're all getting along, or they're helping each other. It's regular life.
So we got a minute. How do people get in touch with you? How do people view what you have? How do people sponsor you?
I think that the best way is to get in touch with us through the website, which is thehealinglightproject.weebly, weebly.com, and there is a contact there. They can contact me that way. We are going to set up another fundraising campaign.
Okay. When will that start?
And we're working on it now.
Okay.
Trying to get what's the best way, because we need to do it over the course of a year. We're looking for sponsorship, ways that people can contribute that are tax deductible. And so as soon as that's in place, but by getting in touch through the website, that would be the best way to stay abreast of what's going on and stay updated.
One more time, the website?
thehealinglightproject.weebly, weebly.com.
And thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. Please check it out. This has got to be a really interesting video that we're going to see real shortly.
You're going to see a wonderful video of the highlights of the trip.
Wonderful.
Peace. Peace in the whole world. We're crying for peace in the whole world. Peace in the whole world. We're calling for peace in the whole world. Brothers and sisters, let us come together and practice love. Peace. Peace in the whole world. We're crying for peace in the whole world. Peace in the whole world. We're calling for peace in the whole world. Kosi sige leli Afrika. Maluphakanyisu tumolwayo. Yiswa imithandazo yethu. Kosi sikelela thina usapho lwayo.
Lelo. Slinganiso. Ezekiel. Jerry. Lucky. Sam. Future. Raquel. Aaron.
Yeah, yeah, la 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 la. Sure, sure, sure.
From world to world you are. Umbe olam, adolam atakel. Zulu. From world to world. Before we started, I was not sure how it was going to happen. I sent a song that I had recorded a couple of times, but never exactly how I wanted to. And I didn't realize till I came here that this was the arrangement that I had been hearing in my ears and in my heart for years and years. I had to travel all the way to South Africa, to Johannesburg, to get that song the way it should be sung. That was my feeling, and I was so happy that that collaboration, but it took a little bit of work.
The music that our friend Rahel does, the folk music, as she describes it, it's very, very, different from the music that we do this side in Africa. We have been doing the music called Istatamia in Zulu, meaning a cappella in English, whereby we only singing with without some instrumental backings, then we dancing at the same time.
Kuzenu ya tatazela, tatazela, hamba mthaka, pelenya, sasikatele ngawe, hamba pelenya, hamba mthaka. This is a Zulu dance.
This is the kind of music that was done by our forefathers when they used to work in the mines, deep down in the mines. Right, so when they were doing those dances, they were demonstrating some conditions that they are finding difficult deep down in the mines. Poor salaries, long working hours, unhealthy, conditions there. So it's one of the dances that Amavevane does. Apart from that, we are doing other African dances. We are taking dances from countries like Botswana. We are taking dances from other Eastern African countries. As it is now, Rahel taught us some Jewish dances, which we are, we are very happy to learn, and we are still looking forward to learn more about those dances.
It's a journey through many, many countries, many, many lands, many, many ideas. It's a very spiritual place to be. It moves us, just as Jews have moved throughout the world. And it talks about our experiences. We've adapted to many different countries because of circumstances, and the music reflects our journeys. It's also drawing on biblical sources. After the destruction of the first temple, the second temple, and 3,000 years of exile from our land in Israel, the music sort of adapted to the countries that we've been living in. So just in brief, I think Jewish music is music of the world.
Turn around, yes.
Our dear friend Rahel kept on sending some of the stuff from her side so that we could get the ideas. So I struggled a lot, let me tell you. I'm a music composer, and with your music I struggled a lot.
It was a lot of work because as us, we don't know the language, but at the end of the day, they did a great job. Yeah? I liked that, and I love that song, you know.
I knew that once we come together, if you play something, then it's gonna, with the help of all these guys as the group, I knew it's gonna work.
It was difficult at the first, but as we were doing, we catch up easily. Now we can do it.
Hebrew is the music, is the language that I learned when I was young, that there is a language called Hebrew, but I didn't know how to speak it or how to pronounce it. So it took us a day or 2 days to learn a few words on the song Before the Mountains in Hebrew, which the spokesman just mentioned that his dream is to have more and more songs being done this way. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is this was, one of the best time ever that I've always experienced in my life.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei mezonot. Amen.
This is African food. We call them round nuts. And then this one as well is called umni.
We eat outside, and it's sweet, like a date. It's almost like a date. In Israel, they eat garenim, sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
They break the shell and eat the inside. This is the other way around.
This is just the beginning. Rahel will remain in Africa eating these things.
I will sustain myself. I will sustain myself on umni.
Ubuntu, bukategile. Togetherness is very important. Ubuntu, number 2. Ubuntu, bukategile.
I hear them talking all the time. I don't know what they're saying, but we hear sounds, and that's the start. But I learned one word, Ubuntu. Ubuntu means together, and I think it's the most important word that I've learned for the week.
Spell it for them, Iran. U-B-U-N-T-U.
That's the whole point why we are all here.
Yeah.
This is just to build up from the Ubuntu part of it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's been a difficult time to learn the Hebrew thing. But as musicians, you know, sometimes nothing is impossible.
Right.
So you got to do the impossible possible.
Dream come true, dream come true, dream come true, dream come true, dream come true. This is a dream come true for us. Let's butterflies to sing come true. This is a dream come true. Let's butterflies to sing for the world.
This dream come true. This song of dream come true. I learned this from you. It's a culture exchange. Music knows no boundaries. So all what I can say, I'm speechless. Really, to be honest, guys, this is so amazing. I wish the worldwide should open up their ears and their mind and think outside of the box. If we can do this, the worldwide can do more than this.
An idea, it's called tikkun. It means we're going to fix and heal and repair, starting with ourselves. And then we're going to go to the olam, the world. Fixing, repairing ourselves, and then coming together, Ubuntu, through the music, and then finding out through the music so much more that we can do together.
Tikkun Ubuntu.
Tikkun olam, tikkun Ubuntu. Dream come true, dream come true, dream come true.
From world to world, 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 from world to
This is Wrestling and Anisha Stays. Let's go in and see what's going on here.
This is my daughter Nokana. First one, she's 11 years old. Nokana meaning bright. When I got everything came bright into my life. So respect the elders. This is my grandmother, the mother of my mother. She's still alive. Now she's 90 years old. Wow. Yes.
This is
is a place where during the apartheid where blacks and whites were fighting. This is where most of the black people, African people were living.
Welcome, good people. This place where we are is known as the Hector Peterson Memorial. It was built in 1992. Nelson Mandela, he came himself, he was invited when it was being opened. So today people in South Africa should be allowed to study in a language they are comfortable with or a language that they understand.
Just remember the life of Nelson Mandela and be inspired by all the things you heard. Come on now, everybody. Thank you for showing us that we can. Thank you for showing us that we can. Next time. Thank you for showing us that we can.
Me and the guys, we do our meetings under those trees because in our culture we believe that if you can go and pray in a mountain, in a place like this, you know, also in reference with what we read from our scripture, from our Bible. Welcome to the house. This boy here is a young Vevani. He's a Vevani, young butterfly. That's Fortune. Meet Mandy. That's Rachel.
Nice to meet you.
This is her son.
You are actually more special than the guys we're with today.
She looks so beautiful. Her smile is wide, and he's so handsome. Proud at her side, their friends and family a special day, and we all hear them, and they all say,
all of us we wish you good luck, good luck. We wish you good luck, good luck, good luck. All of us we wish you, all of us we wish you good luck.
they are waiting outside the door to see a person they haven't seen before. A true creation made from love, a newborn blessing from above.
All of us we wish you good luck, good luck. We wish you good luck, good luck, good luck. All of us we wish you, all of us we wish you good luck.
He counts the candles on his cake and feels so special. All the fuss they make, your friends and family, a special day.
What a special day.
Can you hear them and what they say?
Everybody loves you, loves you, loves you. Everybody loves you, loves you, loves you. Everybody loves, everybody loves, loves you.
They are laughing and take the floor, just like they've both done many times before. A special wedding anniversary, a song from Sugar and White for Lozzie.
All of us we wish you good luck, good luck. We wish you good luck, good luck, good luck. All of us we wish you, all of us we wish you good luck.
Your present
Thank you.
from
I love this.
Amavivani.
The map of Africa. Wow.
Yeah.
Maple,
I love
Africa.
this.
The bracelet,
I get a bracelet.
yeah,
Which hand? Which hand?
left.
Whichever you
Every woman If whenever she put a bracelet or something, she's supposed to put it in the left hand.
For what reason?
Yeah, it's our culture. That you're supposed to put in the left, not in the right. Just because if she puts it, it means it's a man supposed to put here on the right hand.
This is for Iran.
Thank you.
This is Africa.
This is Africa.
If I were right here.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody's gonna signal to me
Sibonga.
on the airplane.
Sibonga. What do you want to tell them about Africa?
I think the inside are all the same.
That people are all the same. Wherever you are, people are all the same. We're just people. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Spell it. U-P-U-N-T-U. Angani bambani bafana bamavevana lengoma yokuthula bo.
Dream come true.
Angani bambani bafana lengoma yokuthula bo.
Dream come true.
This is a dream come true for us. Yes,
Dream come true. Dream come true.
this is a dream come true for
Dream
us.
come true.
Yes,
Dream come true. Say hello. Shalom. Say shalom. Shemit Kashmim Hayom. Shalom. Shalom. Shemit Kashmim Shalom. 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 Shemit Kashmim Hayom. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
From Johannesburg to Jerusalem.
Shalom. Shemit Kashmim Hayom. Shalom. Say hello. Say shalom. Say shalom. Next year in Jerusalem.
Meet you there.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Peace in the whole world.
Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles, and we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark Cleaning. They've been a sponsor for quite a few years now, and we appreciate them being a sponsor. And if you want to be a guest on our show, contact accessnashua@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your story. Until next week, thanks for watching.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.